and you plot, you will find that the appetite has been reducing. Many times, central bank or the government has got fewer applications and fewer uptakes compared to what's being floated. That we should tell you, Honorable Speaker, there is a liquidity problem in this country. And as we have always argued, in an economy that's in a recession, in a market where liquidity is stressed, you do not reduce, the government should not compete with the private sector. Because the government, being a sovereign, is a less risk lender or a risk borrower compared to a normal business. So in that event, Honorable Speaker, this economy will continue to struggle simply because those people who are in charge of making these decisions have simply forgotten the basic economic theories, basic macroeconomic theories that were normally taught in first year in any reasonable university, especially a reasonable university like the University of Nairobi. I wonder where these people went to university.
Well spoken, except for your last remarks on universities. All these universities are great universities training our students. Now, the next to speak on this is the Honorable KJ. I saw your name here. Did you want to speak on this? Then let's have the Honorable Silvanus OSORO. You have keyed in. Proceed and speak on this. And economists have not seen yourself key in, and you keep. Honorable OSORO, proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Sorry, I am members of Parliament are engaged in different matters, and I'm now handling constituency matters, and blend with my official duty here in the House. Honorable Speaker, I have gone through the report by the Public Debt and Privatization Committee. And for me, of much interest is the recommendations as done or proposed by different offices, independent offices, as far as this matter, public debt, is concerned. Honorable Speaker, we are not really doing very well as a country, and this really we must accept. And going by the report by this committee, you'll accept that the committee has really done a good job in compiling, our state as we are and coming up with recommendations, as I've said, proposed from these very independent offices. Honorable Speaker, when I look at the proposals by the Auditor General and the observation by the Auditor General in the report, the control of budget, you'll notice, Honorable Speaker, that out of the 100 shillings, and this is, as the report says, that out of the 100 shillings that we collect, 100 shillings as revenue, 49 or 47.9%, is used to service debt. So ideally, we are left with about 52% to cater for everything, to do the matters healthcare, to do matters education, to do matters roads, to do every service that is required in this country. That is not really a very good report. It's not really something very interesting to have as a country. But apparently, that year in, year out, we find ourselves in this situation, that we will always find ourselves paying, servicing loans, year in, year out, because we are not really living within our means. And really, that is a challenge. And much of these challenges are brought forth by our own making. There is a lot of wastage within government structures and operations. And at times, they are very unnecessary. And if every office and every sector, every operation, every state department can be able to check on how they spend their money, we will be able to save a lot of money, and we will not really find ourselves servicing things that are unnecessary. And those are the things that I have noticed in this report, that as a country we are not doing very well, and we need to now empower these independent offices, that even as they make proposals, professional proposals that will be able to mitigate the challenge of, the challenge of this public debt if we are able to keenly follow what the Auditor General says, if we are able to keenly follow what the Controller of Budget Office, because those are experts, advisors, then we will be able to mitigate these challenges. Because sometimes people in offices, they take advantage of a bit of some spaces within the law or provisions in the law and misuse the CFS. And at times, we find ourselves in a situation that we really can't explain because people have misused this whole thing. And this wastage is not just in the national grid, it's also in the county levels. If today you ask members of parliament here although at times when we raise such issues, Honorable Speaker, we are told to do our work and avoid talking about matters of county governments. But the wastage that we see in governments, national and county governments, it's not really something to smile about. And that is why today you can walk in the streets of your constituency and identify a project that has been pushed through the influence or through the network of a member of parliament or the patronage of the member of parliament, but you can hardly see anything that is being done by the county governments because of a lot of wastages that you will notice. That what you see in the national grid, you will also see a governor moving around with about 50 or 13 or whatever vehicles, one carrying the carpet, another one carrying the tent, another one carrying the PA, another one carrying these. You see another one carrying the seat. And in a single day, what I noticed, they call the governor's office. You find a governor spending about...
Okay, add the whip 1 minute.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You'll find a governor in basic recurrent expenditure, what they call the governor's expense. You find them spending about 2 million, and they do such activities day in, day out. You'll realize that their ECD classes are not built. You realize that the roads are not well maintained, but you find that these guys are spending a lot of money, and that they carry them with them a whole team. In fact, today, Honorable Speaker, without really casting aspersions to anybody, particularly when I talk about, for example, my county, as we speak, my county governor is in China with 50 MCAs, with 30 county staffs, all of them, he's taken them to China, all of them, they are going there to benchmark on how to plant bananas. But Kisii is a hub of bananas. They are spending, when I was going through through that vote in the county government, they spent a whopping 300 million just to go there and see how bananas are being planted in China. It is shocking. I mean, that is the situation we are in. But you'll see them here saying, county governments have not been given money.
OSORO, don't discuss a person who's not in the house, but proceed.
Okay. You will see them. I'm talking about oversight, Honorable Speaker. You will realize the county governments here, you will hear them every time saying, we are not adequately funded, we've not been given money, national government has refused to give us money. Immediately that money hits the account, it is spent in unnecessary trips, spent in unnecessary expenses, like moving around with motorcades and such like that, sirens disturbing people in small towns. It's really unfortunate. And that now raises our public debt. We find ourselves now in a situation that we are funding unnecessary expenses. We are finding a bit of some, for lack of a better word, Honorable Speaker, we find ourselves funding nonsensicals in government structures. Thank you very much. And for that reason, though, I support the report as it is. Thank you, sir.
Very well, but mind your language. Strictly parliamentary language we require here. Very well, let's have next to speak on this the Honorable David Mboni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And let me caution members not to to speak and talk about people who are not in the House and they can't defend themselves. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity also to say one or two things about consolidate fund services, expenditure services. Mr. Speaker, as we are all aware,